As I've been preparing for the month of belonging in the Haven this year, I've been drawn back to a word that I used quite a lot around the theme of creativity back in May. That word is condition. In relation to that topic, I was thinking about conditions as a positive route into the playful, organic experience of creativity itself. Exploring how to replace our mechanical, productivity-obsessed approach with one of organic expansion, creating the right conditions for creativity to grow without us needing to control every part of the process. So it's kind of weird to ponder the idea of unconditional belonging without conditions, letting conditions go. Because when we talk about the kind of belonging that we yearn for often as humans, it's that sense of belonging outside of our capacity to earn our place, to earn the sense of fitting in or belonging. It's a desire to be accepted for our beingness, not our doingness, and the longing to just be welcomed despite our flaws and foibles and failures. In fact, I would argue the true belonging for all of us comes through our flaws and foibles and failures. And it's why we can't earn or perfect or fit in enough to achieve a feeling of true unconditional belonging. It's when we experience our too muchnesses, our not enoughneses, and the messes of ordinary human suffering that we experience unconditional belonging in communion with others. Not when we fit into systems that make conditional demands on our thoughts, on our words, on our actions and behaviours and stuff, but when we recognise that we truly don't fit into those things. We find communion with one another in our truest, deepest sense when we find ourselves on the outside, together in the presence of our failure to fit in. That is the true universal belonging. This is a weird kind of belonging because we've got so used to kind of wrapping belonging up with ownership and possession, and we've grown adept to seeing every interaction as a transactional point of sale. We judge people through eyes of usefulness. What can I get from this person? What does this person offer me? What do they need from me in return for what I'm getting from them? How can I profit from this particular relationship, and so on? We constantly put conditions on everyone and everything, and this shapes how we see the world, how we see other people, and how we see ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we understand our place in the world. Everything is transactional and conditional, and so we are left kind of separate and lonely, isolated and alienated, acting from this place through scarcity and resentment. The system kind of works to enhance these feelings by peddling pretend solutions that make us believe that we can overcome the issue, the alienation, the feeling, with more of what causes them. So it's interesting to think of that word conditional in relation to our belonging. We are conditioned into behaviour and belief. We're trained that if we want to belong, we must behave a certain way. We must believe in certain things. We must follow a certain set of spoken and unspoken rules, expectations, assumptions. And as we look around ourselves in the world today, you can see even not fitting in is in a very real sense conditional, because we have to allow for individual creative expression. We let people kind of be themselves to a point. rebellion and difference, but only within certain boundaries that we define kind of in a fluid way as a crowd. You'll soon know if you overstep it, because that collective surge, that collective culture will make it known that you have gone too far, that you've stepped beyond what is acceptable. But as faithfully as we might try, we won't find the feeling of unconditional belonging if we search for it by fitting in. Because to fit in, we've got to gain access to and acceptance from particular groups. And by so doing, we have to keep parts of ourselves kind of hidden in order not to be rejected. Because there's parts of all of us that will be rejected. And we keep the charade going, placing conditions on others if they want to gain access to the inside, if we're lucky enough to get onto the inside. The knowledge there is an inside places a condition on our belonging and a looming cloud over our head that says, just because you're in right now doesn't mean you can't be removed, can't be eliminated, can't be shunned. But if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear for now. This is one of the reasons that imposter syndrome fascinates me so much. You know, rather than being a kind of problem to eradicate, as it's often sort of painted, I see imposter feelings as a beautiful truth. It actually allows us the conditions of belonging in any given situation. It's the chasm in which unconditional belonging takes place. It manifests in different ways for each of us, but we all experience it. And rather than trying to overcome it, what if this is the very site of our communion, of our unconditional belonging, in our incompleteness and our uncertainty and our suffering? Maybe this is where we discover meaning and connection and belonging.